Hey there all you lovely people, it's Kendra, and today I thought I would do another one of these Poppin' Cookin' Happy Kitchen, make your own candy kind of Japanese kits. This one is Hamburger, so it's like a fast food McDonald's kind of Happy Meal kind of thing. It is, I think, one of the most complicated of the Poppin' Cookin' Happy Kitchen type sets. As you can see, the directions are pretty complicated and kind of long. And it involves the microwave a couple of times and just a lot of things. So I'm going to do this today and we'll see how well it goes and if it tastes good. And by the way, I'm sorry about this really terrible lighting. It's raining outside and it's overcast, so I figured you might be able to see better with the room lights, even though they have this terrible orange glow about them. Let's get started. Pull this out and you get everything in this nice package, and you want to cut along the scissor lines because you save the outside of this package as sort of like a placemat. Okay, so we've got it all opened and I've got this cut out of the package, so we're going to set that aside for now. So you have all these packets, you know, already a lot more than a regular Poppin' Cookin' kit, but you also have a little spatula spoon thing, a little knife, and a cup for the Coke later, and then this tray with a bunch of little holes in it. So what you're going to do with this first is cut this little corner piece off, because this is going to be your measuring scoop for the water that you add to the little packets. Alright, so we've got that. And then you might want to also cut apart the rest of the packet too. So now that you've got all these separated, what you're going to do first is take the one with all the lines in the bottom, the little triangle, and then you're going to take your potato mix and you're going to put it in there with 2 cups of this. 1, 2. Okay. Then stir it up with this. And it smells pretty strange, if I do say. It smells like potato, but kind of like a dusty kind of potato. And you can see it's starting to clump up a bit, so I'm going to use my knife to just kind of get it off the spoon. And yes, it just seems very, it's like sort of like Play-Doh. So once you get that sufficiently mixed up, try to get all of the powder absorbed, and you know, the water spread evenly throughout, because it's very clumpy, which is, you know, how potatoes are, so it's accurate to an extent. And then what you're going to do is smush the dough down into the tray as evenly as you can, just so that it gets into all of those ridges in the bottom of the cup. So once you have it all pressed into one little potato patty, if you will, you're going to put it in the microwave for, it says 30 to 40 seconds for a 500-watt microwave, but I've heard that they get overcooked really easily, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in for 15 seconds, and then we'll see how that goes. 20 seconds? I did 15 at first and it still felt a little bit soft, so I did 5 more, which, you know, doesn't seem like much, but it's really warm, and it kind of has toughened up a little bit. Feels and looks and smells pretty much like a French fry. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this little thing and plop the potato out onto it. You can see some ridges in the potato. So now you're going to take your knife and you're just going to cut along all of these little ridges. And when you cut it, you can feel the consistency isn't quite like a real potato. It feels a little bit gummy, but it cuts pretty easily. And you know, as you cut it, you can see they're turning into little French fries. You're going to cut your little French fry thing out of this, and then we're going to tape it into a little French fry holder. It's very small, kind of hard to handle. Then you fold this up just ever so slightly and tape that. There you have a tiny little French fry container. Super adorable. Let's put these in there. That is so cute. And now we're going to take this tray and we're going to make the bread and the hamburger patty. You're going to take your hamburger packet and you're going to pour it into the big round mixing tray. And then you're going to add 2 more scoops of water to this. Mix it all up. Okay, sorry guys about that. I had some battery and memory card issues, but it should be okay now. So what I did was just mix this and put it into here in the middle slot that looks like a bumpy little hamburger on the bottom, and then you smush it down as best you can. And when you do that, it smells a lot like a beef instant ramen packet, you know, very kind of like weirdly seasoned beef, you know, so I'm guessing that's a lot like what it'll taste like too. So then what we're going to do is we're going to do the same to the bread package. Pour the powder in here and add 2 scoops of water and mix. So then as you do that, it's a lot less thick than the previous 2 packages for the potato and the meat patty. It's more, you know, liquidy, which is good because now we are going to pour half in here and half in there. This for the same time that we cooked the potato for. So I'm going to try 10 seconds and then another 10 seconds. That it's cooked, the little buns are puffed up and round on the top, and the meat smells a lot just like a regular hamburger patty. So I'm kind of excited to taste what this is actually going to, you know, taste like. So we're going to just set these aside for now while we take our cup again and we take the blue cheese packet and make the cheese. And then you're just going to add 1 scoop of water. And it smells a lot like cheese. So then you're going to lay it out evenly as best you can on this blue square. It might be kind of difficult as it is seems a little dry. Maybe I should have added a little bit more water, but oh well. It's gonna end up being very thin, as cheese should be on a hamburger. Just kind of do your best to spread it out evenly. Just take your knife and cut it in half. And set that aside. And now we're going to mix up the ketchup. So you add this and 2 scoops of water in the mixing tray. And it smells very much like tomato when you smell it up close. Carefully pop the buns and the patty out. Now you're going to cut each of them in half. So those are our buns, and then you cut the patty into 4, or you can do 2 if you want simpler but thicker patties. Now we assemble the burgers. So I'm going to take a bun, put a patty, 1 of the cheeses, Oops. Spoon some ketchup onto it. And another patty and the top bun. And then just do the same here. And now we're going to mix the cola in this little cup. But first I'm going to add the label for the drink. So you're gonna fill the cup maybe about halfway to 3/4 of the way full with water. Like so, and add the cola packet. And it's very fizzy. I'm gonna stir it. And it fizzes up. Oh my gosh, that's really exciting. Wow. Wow, and it smells just like Coke. Wow, now that we've got our meal all laid out, I'm gonna give it a try and let's see how it tastes. So first I'm going to try one of the burgers, and you can see sort of up close what it looks like. Pretty realistic. And I'm just gonna take a little bite and I guess we'll see. Wow, okay. So it tastes a lot just like a regular cheeseburger with a slight sweetness about it. So it's not bad. It's not the best hamburger I've ever had, but it's not bad. And it, like, the textures, they work together. It's a little spongy, but that might have been because I undercooked the bread or something. But let's give some of the fries a taste. Very similar texture. Again, I might have undercooked it a little bit, but they taste just like fries with a slight sweetness, and I think the sweetness may be residual from the ketchup, because you know ketchup is usually pretty sweet. So I'm gonna dip one of the fries in the ketchup that I have left, and we'll see how that is. It's actually, you know, pretty good for powder and water and candy kit, you know, actual savory food, which is not usually something that you see from these kinds of kits. So now I'm going to try the little cola drink. And that does not taste as realistic as the other things do, surprisingly. It actually tastes a lot like those little gummy colas that you can buy from Haribo. So it has a little bit of sourness, a little bit of tanginess, and some sweet, but it doesn't taste like actual cola that you can get from a can or a bottle or something like that. So all in all, I'd have to say that I'm very pleasantly surprised with this Happy Kitchen hamburger set. It tastes pretty realistic for what it actually is, which is just powder and water, and for something that usually would be a sweet kind of gummy thing. So if you're into this kind of do-it-yourself candy kit sort of thing, or strange Japanese things, then I definitely recommend this. That's all for now. Have a great day. Bye.